Good day, it's Mr. Varner, and we're going to work on some of the IXL assignments that you'll find in Ms. Turner's class and possibly Ms. Brewer's class as well. We're going to be working today on IXL skill A1, which is 8.7 cube roots, okay? So we'll be working on that. We have a couple of students who've turned it in. We need to have everyone turn it in as soon as possible, as soon as possible, all right? And if you want to find out what your IXL list is, when you go in your Google Classroom, click on IXL list for Algebra 1. The document's right there, okay? So let's go to IXL, and let's start working on A.7 cube roots. All right, good. So the question is, what is the cube root of 64? Cube roots. Let's go back to cube roots. What's the cube root of 8? The cube root is this symbol here. It has the kind of looks like a check mark with a long extension, a check mark with extensions, and it has the 3 here. Now, if there was a 2 there, it would be square root. But this is cube root, it's 3, so cube root, all right? And so what you're doing is you're trying to figure out what times itself 3 times would give you the number. For instance, the cube root of 125 is 5, because 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. So the cube root here, as it shows here, the cube root of 125 is 5. Once again, 5 times 5 times 5, it's the same number 3 times. Now, it's not 5 times 3, that would be 15. 5 times 3 would be 15. What we're dealing with is 5 times 5 times 5. 125, okay? So that's what we're dealing with when we deal with cube root. So let's figure out the cube root of 8. The cube root of 8 would be 2 times 2 times 2. So when it says what is the cube root of 8, we're trying to figure out what times itself 3 times would give you 8. And 2 to the 3rd power is 2 times 2 times 2. So whatever 2 to the 3rd power is the same as the cube root of 8. All right, so the cube root of 8 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. So now let's go and put this in real time. Now, the calculators that you probably have don't have a cube root, they don't have a cube root function on them. So what I'm going to suggest is that you find the cube root calculator. Well, I spelled calculator wrong. There you go. Cube root calculator. I've seen it online. I've used it with a couple of students. Not that one. Root calculator. Is this the one that we use? I think so. Yes, I like this one. This one is super duper easy. All right. So if you're using square root, which is the 2, then you use this one. If you're using cube root, you can use this one. So going back to our problem, what's the cube root of 64? What times itself times itself times itself is 64? So I'm going to take a guess. I think I know. So I think 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Oh, I have it. Okay, so 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Let's check on the cube root calculator. I'm going to put in 64 in the cube root calculator because we want to find out the cube root. What times itself 3 times will give us 64? All right, so calculate. And it says 4. So we're going to go back to IXL, and I'm going to type in 4. Watch it say fantastic. Well done. Oh, what's the cube root of 125? We did that a little earlier. Hopefully you remembered, all right? What's the cube root of 125? Let's see if you remember. na 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 5. All right, so that's saying that 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. Okay, good. Let's go back to IXL. And I want to type in the answer, which we figured out was 5, right? Boom. Good work. Okay. What's the cube root of 1? So we can go back to the cube root calculator and we'll just do a 1 this time. All right, so think about it. What times itself would equal 1? That's an easy one because 1 times itself is 1. So 1 times itself times itself times itself is 1. 1 times 1 times 1, which is a cube, is 1. Oh, so let's see if we come up with the same answer. Yep, the cube root of 1 is 1. So come back to IXL. We're going to type in 1, and we're done. Wonderful. Some kind of wonderful. Ooh, what is the cube root of 0? I know you can figure that one out, okay? So I'm going to stop the recording, and I want you to follow up and finish, what is it, A7? A7. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. So do it to it.